Welcome to the McHale Center, Tanyelle Welch. Good to have you aboard. Hey everybody, it's Ben the Coin Geek, brought to you by Old Public Coin, talking U of A women's basketball, and a nice little win tonight with the U of A taking down the Grambling State Lady Tigers. Final score of 85-64, a 20-point win, and a real nice looking win in lots of ways for this team, coming off of a first quarter that had us down 13-22, and there was a little bit of here we go again, what are we going to see? A couple quick thoughts on that. It feels like this team takes a good 5 or 10 minutes to relearn how to play together, and I'm going to keep saying that that's normal for a bunch of kids that have not played together. Once again, kind of a nice big coming out party for number 12, Tanyelle Welch, who had a concussion protocol, hadn't really had the minutes yet. Few games in the season here, she gets 20 minutes, ends up with a real nice stat line. I think she had 12 points. What did she have her? 12 points and 8 rebounds. And just like we were hoping for when she came on the scene, 5'10", athletic guard out of Memphis, originally from Indianapolis, Indiana, and a little bit more athletic than some of our guards, just a little bit bigger, and really good to have her. All right, the game goes on. We outscore them in the following quarters, 25-11, 25-14, and 22-17, having a 5-point lead at the half, then building up a pretty nice cushion going into the third quarter and actually extending the lead all the way through the fourth. Some things that we haven't seen yet. I realize Grambling is, a team that's not going to be world beaters, but honestly, they had some pretty talented girls out there in lots of ways, I thought. Some kids that were just as talented as ours. It's not like we were lining up with 5 superior players when we step on the court. And I don't know that we're going to do that anymore the rest of the season necessarily. Wait for my NAU prediction coming up maybe. But a lot of teams that we're going to play, we're probably going to be considered the team with a little bit less talent, but I really like what we're seeing out of the girls right now in the way of chemistry, communication, and growth, both individually and as a team. We'll talk a little bit about this game where MasterCard would have been jealous of how many charges were going on. It was pretty fantastic. I thought actually the game was reffed really well. Most of those fouls, it's a lot of fouls that they would normally call blocks were getting called charged, but they were consistent, and not everyone was fouling out, but once again we had Sukpong fouling out, number 3, my favorite little shooting guard from San Diego, and so much fun to watch her play, very intense, getting to the rim, getting some buckets, and early on, again, this game we were missing a lot of little bunnies, little closer shots. When those start falling, a couple things are going to happen. One, Cornfield's going to have insane stat lines. She didn't have a great game, and yet she had 8 points and 10 assists. She had about 4 takes to the hoop where she really got by the defender, and the ball just didn't go in the hoop on the layup, and it was a little bit uncharacteristic from what I can tell. I think she normally finishes pretty strong. I almost think that she was anticipating contact on some of those layups, and when there was none, she missed the shot. And the plays where she got knocked down, the ball went in, right? So either with or without a foul. So maybe she just plays better with contact. True freshman Trammell, which I say Trammell, but I've heard the announcers saying Trammell, so I'm going to go with Trammell. What a joy she is to watch. She's out there, 15 points on 7 of 10 shooting, and coach said the same thing after the game that I was thinking when I was watching her play. She just has a real high motor. Go, exciting to watch. I think that she doesn't know how good she is or could be, and that's half the joy of it. I think that the coaching staff just says, hey, do this, and she's like, okay, go, and which is fun to watch. High motor out of the 6'2" freshman. Super exciting to have her on the team, and she's gonna have some good future years ahead of her. This game saw us out rebound them 42-34, which was nice considering it really, especially in the first half, it felt like we, and actually most of the game, on the offensive end. So when they're the defensive rebounders, it felt like we were mostly one and done. We weren't getting any offensive rebounds. like shoot, and then it felt like we're getting back on defense, which may have been part of the plan to not get run out of the off the court, because that team could definitely run and gun. It really felt like that team was never going to miss a three-pointer. At the end of the day, I think that they were 9 for 22, something like that. But it felt like they were never going to miss a three-pointer. And if you're at the game, you know what I mean. It's just sometimes it feels a little bit different out there. Okay, so Samaya Singapong, 13 points, 4 rebounds, nice little game, fouls out again, but gets like 3 charges against. So nice little defensive effort there. We did have a 16 to 18 assist to turnover ratio. So once again, our assist to turnover ratio is negative. Some of that is just missed layups on some really beautiful passes. I mean, both of our point guards were throwing some nasty dimes, just throwing some dimes that were nasty. I mean, like, your team's not always ready for those passes, and they're getting more ready. You can see it. It's so much fun to watch. Michaela Purdue with a rough 5 turnover game, but 15 points, and once again just showing that she likes to score. And it felt like she wasn't a factor, and yet here she is with 15 points, and maybe that's just because the second half of the game we saw so much out of Welch. Interesting enough, when it comes to the offensive lineup for our guards in general, we did not see Cameron Kitchen play. Fascinating for me once again. I think that it's just that Coach is like old school. Some of you are from Tucson. You remember Lute Olson, and Lute Olson famously had the doghouse. And I think she just has a doghouse. Like, okay, if you're in the doghouse, you're not playing. Which, I don't know. Once again, I'm going to give her lots of time and grace here, but like just personality difference, I'm like, let them play. One of the things I enjoyed so much about Grambling was you had like 10 kids that got seemingly 10 to 15 minutes each. And it seems to be a pretty healthy thing to me for a program to do. But once again, I'm not a coach, not making the big bucks, just some guy yapping. All right, the other big news for me was seeing Blessings Adebayo. I'm going to try to say her name correctly. I just like saying Blessings. Coming in there getting 8 minutes. She hadn't really played much. I think she played a couple minutes here and there. 6 points, a couple of blocks. I think she's just super raw. After getting to actually see her play for more than 38 seconds at the end of a half with like 3 whistles in it. She's 6'3". She's our biggest available player, as Achol didn't play today, didn't suit up at 6'7", but Blessings did. And 8 minutes, really happy to see that. I'd love to see her get a few more minutes. Once again, just a different philosophy. I just think that they need game reps, whether or not they're in a doghouse. And to me, a doghouse is for like if you're just doing something terrible. And I'm putting things. Coach didn't say that. I don't want to give the wrong idea here, but like I would love to see some of the kids get some minutes just to get some reps in. And we saw when she was on the court, she was the biggest, strongest, most athletic person on the court, and very impressive from that perspective. I just think she's really, really raw, but also excited to have her on our team. Hopefully some good things will be coming. Another solid game from Nora Francois. In 13 minutes, she had 6 points and 7 rebounds. I love what she brings to the table, whether she's coming off the bench or starting. 13 to 20 minute mark, get her in there. She makes things happen. She seems to be in the right place at the right time. Really, I think Coach drew up a 3-point play at the end of the third quarter for her. Or maybe it was the end of the fourth quarter. There was a weird timeout they came out of, and it was like they were trying to get her a 3-point shot, which I thought was fascinating. That's what it looked like. Coach can correct me. Molly Ladwig, 12 minutes, 3 points, 4 rebounds. Love having Molly out there. I think she played really strong. Oddly enough, I don't say oddly enough isn't fair. She, I think, is a really good defender overall. I think she seems to know where to be on the court. And I think a part of what you're seeing with the rotation being so tall, so small and tight at the beginning of the season is that the players that I think are really understanding their role the best and the plays the best and can function the best on the court are getting the minutes. Of course, Coach says it has a lot to do with practice time, which I totally believe. One thing I don't think I mentioned, MJ. So this is one of the things that's weird for me. MJ's out there 37 minutes, and interesting to me. It's interesting that she's getting so many minutes. 8 rebounds, 7 points, 5 turnovers. So she seems to be someone who has, to me, a lot more turnovers, but it's okay. She's out there definitely providing a little bit more height. But once again, to me, I'd like to see some of these other forwards out there. We still haven't seen Frederica Wallace play at all from Kansas, the senior, the 6'2 senior, originally from Lincoln, Nebraska. It would be good to have her on the court once again and getting some minutes. But I don't know. I just want to see some of the kids play that I haven't seen play. And that's it. All right. Having said all of that, NAU this Friday, Ari McDonald. I don't know if she's getting her jersey retired or her jersey's going to the Ring of Fame. I don't think the number's getting retired. We'll see. We won't see. Sadly enough, I will actually not be able to be at the game this week, so I'm really disappointed in that. But NAU's coming in with a complete changeover. NAU, who's had a really good couple of years, their coach leaves. They hire Laura Dinkins, not to be confused with Susie Durkins, totally different person. She was the associate head coach at GCU for the last 2 years. And so now she's the head coach at NAU, the 13th head coach that they've had. They're having a rough season. I think that they're going to have a rough season. Loss at New Mexico, 59-77. That's respectable. Loss at Utah Tech, 73-78. A little bit rougher. Their only win is against Embry-Riddle. And loss against that UC Irvine team that we just beat. They lost 75-90. So to give you a little bit of an idea about what they've done so far early on in the season. And, we'll see how we match up. I think it's a pretty favorable game for us. I think the rest of our non-conference schedule is, I don't want to say favorable. I mean, we're not a team that can just walk out there and beat people yet. But, all the games on our preseason non-conference schedule are winnable games. And so not that we're going to win them all, but this one, the NAU game, I don't want to jinx us, but this is a team just based on how the transition they've gone through, although it's similar to ours, it still feels like we've got a little bit different level, a little bit different caliber of maybe talent and coaching experience on our side. So, all right, guys, as always, please share these videos with anyone who likes U of A women's basketball. I'll be here for that. You be for that. Continue to support the kids. They didn't create this wacky system that they're playing in. They just want to play basketball. So go to the McHale Center, cheer them on. Don't boo them. Don't boo the refs. Okay, well, be funny if you're going to boo the refs. Don't just boo them. I mean, be funny. All right, guys, take care.